Hey coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at three different coins: the 1935 farthing, the 1935 one penny coin, and the 1932 half penny coin. And these are all, of course, from the era of Queen Elizabeth II's grandfather, George V. And they're all really old, as you can tell. And they were all put into circulation after Queen Elizabeth was born. So let's kind of take a look at them, and why don't we start with the farthing. And this farthing, as you can see, is a tiny coin, both in value and in size. And if we look at it, we see that it says farthing across the top, F-A-R-T-H-I-N-G. Down here at the bottom it says 1935, and in the center is Britannia holding a trident, or a three-pronged spear, and also holding the Union Jack. I'm going to change this light just a little bit here. It's not quite so shiny. There we go. And then you see that there's also the sea here. Of course, this is from the era of when Britannia, or Britain, ruled the waves. Now, a farthing coin, when I say it's tiny in size and value, this weighs 2.83 grams, so it's really light, 20 millimeters in diameter, and there are 960 of these to the British pound sterling. So this actually could be used to buy something in 1935. Of course it could. It was in the middle of the Depression and people didn't have any money at all. But you might be able to, I don't know if you could buy a loaf of bread, but you could certainly buy some bread in 1935 with this 1/960th of a pound coin. We flip it over to the side, and there you see there is George V facing to the left. It says Georgius in Latin, V, or fifth, Dia Gra, or by the grace of God, King of all Britons, and that's the Rex King, Fid Def, Defender of the Faith, and Ind Imp, and that means Imperator of India, or Emperor of India. And of course that was on the United Kingdom coins until 1948, when India achieved its independence. This particular coin was made from 1926 until 1936. Prior to 1926, they changed, after 1926, they changed this, what they call this effigy, or this portrait of George V. So there was an older portrait, and then this is the so-called new portrait. This front of the coin was engraved by Edgar Bertram McKennell, and it's an uncrowned portrait, which is similar to some of his son, or Queen Elizabeth's father's portrait was uncrowned. If you note, Queen Elizabeth II herself's portraits are all crowned, except for the first one, which has a laureate wreath on it. All right, so we see that it has a toothed outer rim. This is not a beaded outer rim. These never did. These were always connected to the outer rim. And then if we flip it over again, a toothed outer rim. Again, not beaded. These were never beads. This is how they were made originally. And this coin has a lot of color to it, and I'm not positive that it hasn't been cleaned. It's a little bit too bright for me, especially when I look at the edge, which is not bright. Next we have the halfpenny coin. Oh, I guess I should tell you on the farthing how many of these that they made in 1935. I said it was a general circulation coin, and it was. And in 1935, they made 2.2 million of them. So not a lot. This coin here is worth between $1 and $2.50. So 2.2 million of them in 1935, the lowest year of any of the years of this particular coin that they made. This is probably the one to collect in 1935 if you're going to collect any farthings. Again, the next coin is the halfpenny coin. Now, in terms of weight, the halfpenny coin weighs 5.67 grams. So if you remember that the farthing coin weighed 2.83 grams, we double up the weight of the farthing and we get the half penny. Now, what is a half penny worth? Well, the half penny was 480 to the British pound sterling. And so the half penny is twice the weight of the farthing. And she's kind of listing to the side. I heard a great kind of weird comment from one of our viewers who said, can you show me another one of those coins where the lady's sitting in the wheelchair? And I said, we don't have any. She said, yeah, the British coin. I said, we don't have any. And they mistook this for a wheelchair, which is one of the weirdest and strangest things ever. But it really does look a little bit like a wheelchair when you look at it, doesn't it? I mean, the wheels are a little bit back, but it almost looks like a racing wheelchair, but it's not. It's Britannia sitting actually in a throne Britannia ruling the waves with the, of course, the British shield, Union Jack shield behind her. Now, the halfpenny coin was made from 1928 to 1938 in this configuration. This is the so-called smaller portrait of George V. The halfpenny before this issue, before 1928, had a bigger portrait. Originally, these coins, there were 80 of these to the pound in terms of weight, but in terms of value, there were 480 of these to a pound. And so when we look at this one, again, we see the George V, Diagra, Brit we see a little coloring in there, Rex, and again, we see this outer rim, but this one, you notice, is a beaded outer rim. And let's flip it over and look at the back again. And this is a beaded outer rim, which kind of became one with the rim. We see the 1932 on the bottom. Again, Leonard Charles Wyon did the reverse on these coins, and Edgar Bertram McKennell did the portrait. And then finally, we have the 1 penny coin from 1935. Oh, how many half pennies did they make in 1930? Well, it turns out 2. That was in 1932. They made 14.5 million. It's probably worth, this particular coin is probably worth between 50 cents and $1. Maybe a little bit more. The penny coin, again, twice the weight of the half penny, 9.45 grams, 1/240th to the pound. Now remember, this is before decimalization, so there weren't 100 of these to a British pound sterling. There were 240 in the old pound system, which is one of the reasons they went to decimalization. This is a fine, fine coin, and if you look at the detail here, you can actually see, one of the things I always look at is the toes. Can you see the toes? Can you see how the kind of ocean tides kind of sweep through here? So this one, you can see the bow in the front. That's really hard to see in these Britannia portraits. And of course the Union Jack over here, 1 penny. Great, great, great separation here between all of the details as you go through. Now the 1 penny coin, there were 240 of these to the British pound sterling, and there is a 1933 issue of this. This is the 35. In 1933, we only know of 7 of these. I'm going to put this light on just to change up the light a little bit so you can see the 35. In 1933, there were only 7, and those don't even have a value on them. None were struck for circulation. They found 7, but that's about all that they found so far. The 1935 we have right here, though, they made 56 million. If this is uncirculated, it's worth between $16 and $20. In this condition that it's in right now, it's probably worth $1.50. I would say this is probably an extra fine coin. A little bit of mess here near the knee, so maybe not quite an extra fine, but I think for this year, it probably would be. And for a 85-year-old coin, it's pretty darn good looking. All right, well, that's all we have today. BC Coin World International Coin Channel. We have the penny, George V, the half penny, George V, and the farthing coin from George V. I hope you're all well. Hope you're working to get through this COVID, and we'd love to have you just subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.